Tens of thousands of people petitioned Macy's to change their fitting room policy, which allows men to go into the women's fitting room. We're going to be talking about it today on Faith and Freedom. I'm Matt Staver, founder and chairman of Liberty Counsel. Joining me is Matt Barber, the vice president of Liberty Counsel Action. And Matt, this issue of Macy's began in 2011, but this continual situation has not been resolved by Macy's. They've tried to ignore the people thus far. They're, I think, hoping that this will just be a phase and people will forget about it and they'll go on with their shopping in 2012.
Yeah, I've often said that political correctness is a barrier to reality. And by adhering to the dictates of political correctness here, Macy's has placed themselves in an untenable position by calling up down and down up and black white, and a man a woman and a woman a man, allowing men to utilize the women's fitting room, in some instances even having men in dresses working the fitting rooms, operating the fitting rooms as women and their daughters are coming in and being placed in a very uncomfortable position. But yet, the power of the radical LGBTQA, B, C, D, E, F, G, whatever lobby is so powerful that they're frightened into capitulation and will bow at the altar of political correctness.
And a lot of people have expressed frustration with Macy's through email and through phone calls, through letters. They've said that they are shocked at Macy's policy and they're not going to shop at Macy's. We've had people say that they're cutting up their Macy's gift cards. We had a lady send us an email who's currently an employee of Macy's, and she indicated that they have the same problem in their store in a completely different state. The issue actually arose in San Antonio with our client that did not want to allow a man to return to the women's fitting room, and that's where it all began, where this controversy erupted. Well, we're getting information now from around the country that this is around the country. This is obviously is a national policy and a national problem. This individual said that men are frequently using the women's fitting room at Macy's in a different state than Texas, and that mothers oftentimes come to her and ask her to please try to keep the men from going into the women's fitting room when their daughters are in there changing clothes.
Yeah, it's remiss of Macy's not to protect the women who are shopping in their stores, and that's what they're doing. They're choosing political correctness over women's safety. And it's no wonder that tens of thousands of people have signed this petition. It's no wonder that we're getting reports of people going into Macy's telling them they're no longer Macy's shoppers, people cutting up their Macy's cards. It's little wonder, and you would think, it's amazing to me. You would think if a company is in the business of making widgets, or that they would get about making widgets.
And not get involved in the
culture wars.
Yeah,
that's what they're doing here.
Just make your objects and don't take sides in the culture wars. Yeah. Obviously, Macy's has chosen to take sides on the wrong side of this culture war on an absurd policy that allows men to use the women's fitting room if they want to identify as a woman. And it's this broad gender identity policy that's at play here. It goes far beyond what they call sexual orientation. This goes to just whatever you want to be that day. Whatever you think you are, you are. I think, therefore I am. It becomes a reality with Macy's policy. If I think I'm a woman, if I want to be a woman, if I want to identify with a woman, then I can use the women's fitting room. We also have another individual that contacted us, Matt, who said that he was sort of a troubleshooter. I forgot the exact title that he was working in Macy's, and he brought to Macy's the issue of these men going into the women's
probably working
fitting
in corporate security or
he was doing
loss
something
prevention,
something of that nature, and he brought to their attention articles from around the country where people had gone into Macy's and a couple of other stores, but also specifically Macy's. Women had gone in and they had been sexually assaulted in these fitting rooms by men that were coming into those fitting rooms, and even rapes. And he brought this to the attention of Macy's to address this policy, and he said rather than addressing it, he was terminated.
Yeah, not surprising when you look at they're pulling the wool over their own eyes here, and that's a hallmark of the homosexual activist lobby and people who are trapped in the homosexual lifestyle. They're in constant rebellion with order, with their natural order, with natural law. With biology, obviously, a man can't be a woman can't be a man. And so, you know, groups like the Human Rights Campaign are constantly raising the bar, moving the goalposts, if you will. They have their corporate equality index, and they use that in order to strong-arm companies into signing off on every single one of their demands. And once all their demands are met, and some company says, "Whew, finally, we've reached 100%, we're not bigots and homophobes." The Human Rights Campaign has said we're 100% on their corporate equality index. That's when they raise the bar, move the goalposts, and say, okay, now in order to be 100%, oh, this year you're down to 80% because you don't pay for sex change operations for.
Well, that's in fact what's happened to Macy's, because Macy's now is rated very high. I think it's at 100% with the Human Rights Campaign corporate rating policy. And so what they've done is they've backed themselves into this bizarre corner where they have essentially said, not essentially, they have said, if you identify as a woman, you can use either the men's or the women's fitting room. And that's ultimately what happened here in this situation. I would encourage people to continue to contact Macy's, contact their local Macy's store, and then also contact the national Macy's as well. You can go to our website at lc.org. We have a press release. If you go to Liberty Alerts, you'll find press releases there where we have information on how to contact Macy's in their national headquarters. That's why we delivered tens of thousands of petitions to Macy's in their national headquarters to make sure that they know that people around the country are paying attention and they're not going to shop at Macy's unless they change their policy.
And it's a shame that Macy's will not do the right thing and show some courage here. And that's all it takes is a little courage. I know that the paper tiger's going to roar, the politically correct, the progressive lobby, the homosexual activist lobby, they're going to roar, but they need to look to companies like Chick-fil-A, for instance, who have said, no, this is absurd. We're not going to buy into this LGBT nonsense. We're going to honor God. It's a Christian company. They are thriving. Yeah. Chick-fil-A is thriving. When you do the right thing.
Got a Chick-fil-A bowl. They're all over the place now.
Yeah, right. They're thriving.
And they don't. Contrary to modern business practices, they're closed on Sunday.
Yeah.
And I was going through the mall the other day. The most busy restaurant in the mall there, the fast food, was Chick-fil-A. But you know, I just visited with an individual the other day. We're going to have him on some future faith and freedom programs. This individual was born a man, went through so-called sex change surgery to be a woman, regretted that, and then went back to being a man, went through some additional, I guess, surgery, stopped taking the estrogen hormones, and he's married now to another woman. He wants to send out a warning message to these people that think you can just think that you want to be somebody of the opposite sex and then have some plastic surgeon somewhere to do the surgery and make it so. It's not that easy, and it's not a reality. And this guy certainly had buyer's remorse. It's this kind of absurdity that Macy's is propagating with these policies.
Well, you've often said it's the theater of the absurd, and that's exactly what it is at Macy's. And you know, it's sad enough when these individuals are deceived into believing they're a man in a woman's body, a woman in a man's body, and they mutilate themselves surgically. But when the government, when it's George Orwell meets The Emperor Wears No Clothes, when the government says through the force of law, everybody else has to engage in this delusion that a man is a woman, then we have situations like we have at Macy's where this delusion is now systemic, and women, at least in the case with Macy's, are put at risk, and demonstrably so.
Well, give us a call at Liberty Counsel, 1-800-671-1776, or go to our website at lc.org. 2012 is going to be an incredible year. One of the things coming up that you want to be aware of is the Awakening 2012. You can go to theawakening2012.org to sign up. That's theawakening2012.org. You need to register for that event. It's right in Orlando, Florida, April 19 through 21. We're going to have a lot of speakers from around the country. April 19 through 21, theawakening2012.org. Go there, register, bring some of your friends. You can also contact us with information, books that will help you to understand these culture wars. One that was recently released by our new publishing house, Only One Mommy, by Rena Linda-Valtson, a powerful story about Lisa Miller and her struggle with homosexuality. And then my book, Take Back America. You can get those by going to lc.org or call us today at 1-800-671-1776.